The town of Jerusalem's Lot is located 10 miles north of Portland, Maine. Sometimes called Salem's Lot or just the Lot, it is noted for a disturbing string of murders, disappearances, and cases of arson which occurred in the 1970s. But long before those upsetting events, the town had already been tainted by blood and madness. Now join us as we explore the dark history of Jerusalem's Lot. Perhaps the only trace of levity within this sordid village is the origin of its name. According to local legend, dating back to colonial times, there was a farmer named Charles Belknap Tanner, and one of his pigs was named Jerusalem. According to the story, the hog escaped its pen and went back into the wild, becoming feral and dangerous. Afterwards, the farmer would warn the young children of the community to keep out of Jerusalem's woodlot, and eventually the name stuck. The settlement is considerably older than other nearby towns, such as Preacher's Corners. According to historical documents, Jerusalem's Lot was founded by a religious leader named James Boone. At first, it seems that the community branched off from a larger puritanical group, but further evidence suggests that Boone had interests which were far from Christian. His church was the centerpiece of the town, and James Boone, with devious charisma, convinced his parishioners that he possessed a godlike authority. According to hearsay, as well as family testimony, James Boone slept with dozens, perhaps even hundreds of women within the community, openly claiming each one for himself. It is unknown as to why the men of the community accepted this tenet, but they did. And the resulting offspring, after a few generations of interbreeding, resulted in observable deformities. By the late 1700s, some of the children were born without noses or eyes. The cult of Jerusalem's Lot based its faith on the tirades of James Boone, who adapted his ideology from a warped combination of the Bible and a book known as Demon Dwellings by DeGouge, an archaic text which explains how to contact evil spirits. But there was a third book which James Boone did not yet possess, one in which he was obsessed with, a book titled The Mysteries of the Worm. The current theory is that at least one of Boone's offspring escaped the cult. It was one of Boone's bastard sons, who would be known as Kenneth Boone, adding an E to his last name. Kenneth died in 1763 of natural causes, which, as you'll see, is a rare occurrence within the Boone family tree. Kenneth grew to adulthood and amassed a fortune from the fur trade. Putting his past behind him, he never told his wife and two sons the bizarre depravity of Jerusalem's Lot. As if by a sinister fate or a mere coincidence, Kenneth's sons used a substantial sum of their father's inheritance to build a mansion, a manor they called Chapelwaite. At this point in their lives, they had no idea that the neighboring village of Jerusalem's Lot had been the home of their father. On August 4th, 1789, Robert Boone visits the village of Jerusalem's Lot and meets an elderly man named James Boone, surrounded by women. By this time, it is estimated that the preacher is 104 years old. Robert's brother Philip becomes enamored by the old man, impressed by the cult leader's charisma and stamina. In his diary, Robert notes the town's high level of deformity and mental illness and decides he wishes to never visit it again. However, on September 1st, Philip, is baptized into Boone's church. At Philip's insistence, Robert reluctantly reaches out to his business contacts to obtain an edition of the text known as the Mysteries of the Worm. According to Robert, he had no knowledge of the book's demonic nature. In fact, he thought it was a book about gardening. In fact, the Mysteries of the Worm, also known as De Vermis Mysteries, was written by Ludwig Prynne, a self-proclaimed necromancer from the Middle Ages in the late 13th century. Prynne studied with so-called wizards in both Syria and Egypt. Eventually, he traveled to the forests of Europe, where villagers believed he lived among the wilderness, bending the wills of rodents, birds, and wolves to his beck and call. Eventually, rumors of his witchcraft increased. Villagers disappeared, and Prynne was arrested. The guards who undertook this task captured Ludwig Prynne standing in front of a bloody pagan altar in a circle of trees. He was burnt at the stake. But Prynne's book somehow survived and became a rarity handed down from one book dealer to the next. On September 16, 1789, the book arrives. Robert hands it over to Philip, who is crazed and laughing at his brother. He flees Chapelwaite with the book, declaring, "We have the secret of the worm." A month passes, and during that time, it is believed that Philip and James are using the book to bind themselves to whatever faceless powers exist beyond the rim of the universe. On October 27, 1789, undetected, Charles Boone follows his brother back to Jerusalem's lot. The town is dark except for a menacing red glow coming from the church. When Charles hears a combination of laughter, sobs, and chanting emanating from the building, he runs away in fear. That would be the last time anyone hears from the villagers of Jerusalem's lot. By Halloween night, everyone in town has vanished, including Philip and James Boone. Furniture, goods, sundries in the tavern, all is left, all remains untouched, covered in dust. In the empty church, the Book of the Worm remains upon the altar. Thank you for watching and listening to the latest episode of the Stephen King Book Club. If you'd like to see more of these, please like and subscribe, Constant Reader.